Hi, my name is Samuel Price, and today I want to give you a macro analysis. I want to look at the weekly charts, maybe the 5-day. We're not going to go too deep. And we're going to show you Bitcoin, S&P, Nasdaq, the dollar, total 3, U.S. Tether dominance, and Bitcoin dominance. We're going to give you these charts that are going to absolutely blow your mind. Get ready. I can't wait to show you this stuff. It's going to be absolutely amazing. This is what you need. This is really gives us a breath of fresh air, really shows us what's happening in the markets and where we're probably likely going to go. So let's take a look at the weekly chart right now and jump on in. If you've been watching me, I've been bullish on the weekly chart ever since we started doing these macro analyses every Friday. And so far, we've been moving to the upside as suggested. We looked at this W. The W did play out. We know that we have resistance right here where we're at exactly 37,005. We've hit this level a few times, and we wicked right to it. As you can see, we wicked to it right there. We hit right here. And so we're about to probably either get back above this or go further to the downside, and that's what I want to talk about. The weekly is a little high, all right? But we're going to look at some other ideas here. Now, either the dollar dumps, the Bitcoin dumps with the dollar, or we're going to see a major pump, and I'm going to tell you why if you stay tuned till we get to the dollar index. But right now, this trend line is very interesting. We want to pay attention to it. If Bitcoin loses this trend line, we're going to drop right to this next previous resistance as support, which is going to be 31,500. So we could see 31.5. It's very possible we could drop by $5,000, but we would have to lose this trend line first for that to occur. So right now, the weekly looks good. You know, if the weekly can stay inside of this pattern and turn it into what's called an ascending triangle, we have ourselves getting up to about 51,055, somewhere into the halving. That would be absolutely beautiful. It would be 51,000 into the halving, and things would be all hunky-dory. So that's what we're looking for Bitcoin. Now, if we slap on the moving averages, right, as long as you're above the 200 SMA, you remain very bullish. If the weekly goes below it, that's going to be a problem, but staying above the 200 SMA is a big deal. That's a sign of a bull run, all right? You can look at this on any asset in the world. Once you get above the 200 SMA on the weekly, it is a bull run if you ever even go below it. Also, the 50 coming for the 200 SMA tells me that there's a big cross coming. Now, we could even get a drop and a pump back up and then eventually loop. It doesn't tell you can't get a pullback, but when you see the 50 coming for the 200, it tells you somewhere over here, months from now, especially on the weekly, you will be higher than you were when you first saw this cross about to happen. So that's a very bullish sign. Another thing I want to look at is the 5-day chart. Look at the 5-day, and I want to show you the 200 SMA here on the 5-day chart. If Bitcoin breaks below that, that's going to be a problem. So I will switch bearish, okay, for BTC if we lose this diagonal trend line and if we lose the 200 SMA on the 5-day chart. And where would we go? We would likely come test here, and then we would come to the bottom of this pattern. We could even bounce up and down and eventually break out, and this would be basically a bull trap. They would have trapped a bunch of bulls right here into thinking there was going to be a bigger move, and then just shred them further to the downside and then liquidate a lot of longs. So there's a possibility this is a bull trap. As you can see, we're having our second 5-day red candle, in a while. It's been really nice. So we would like this to switch and eventually green. We do have 4 days for this before it closes. So only time will tell. We're talking somewhere on Monday, this will close. But that's the deal about the 5-day chart. It's all about losing the 200 SMA and this top trend line. If we lose those two things, I will flip bearish, and we'll start looking for lower targets at 31,689. And if we lose that, we're going to be looking for this bottom trend line. If we lose that, we're talking 24,000. We might even test 28K along the way. And I'm not saying that's guaranteed to happen. I'm just showing you these are the levels. What's most likely, I believe, is that we go more sideways, but you never know. What I believe doesn't matter. The charts convey. So I want to see what happens when the next 2 or 3 5-day candles close. If they close sideways like this, it's going to be great for the altcoins, and we're going to get more likely a massive move for Bitcoin. If we start getting downward movement, then we're inside of a flag, and that's not too bad. We could make a flag and still break out, but I'll be monitoring the situation there because I want to see what's happening. Also, here, that 200 SMA, you just don't want to break that. So I'm bullish as long as we stay back above that level. I'm bullish. Also, the 50-day coming also for the 200, you can see it's very, very far away, but it looks like there's only a matter of time until we're actually going to see a golden cross here on the 5-day chart. So I only want to show you the 5-day and the weekly, and then we're going to head on into the Nasdaq. If you watch the Nasdaq analysis that I did, I showed you a cup and handle. I showed you hidden bullish divergence. Now there's even hidden bullish on the weekly. I mean, hidden bullish on the weekly tells you you're going to have a massive run-up, like a massive, massive, massive run-up. I called this. If you remember, this will be the 3rd week I've been doing this, so I did it right here, 1, 2, 3. The trade is in the money since I talked about it right there. I even gave a divergence call on the smaller time frame before we got the pop. I see this coming for the all-time high. eventually breaking it as long as it doesn't double top. But for now, I see it coming in the next week or two to the all-time high. They are going to print tons of money, everybody. They have people that won campaigns and they need to say what they're going to do. Money print. And if they don't get the money, what are they going to do? And so there's people who just, I don't care what it does to the environment or the inflation. Just, print that money. We don't care. So the political environment. So that's going to cause an effect for pumpage. And this is a cup and handle. These don't lie. They tell you what's going to happen before they happen, and they're very accurate. So this tells me there's going to be a pretty big move for Bitcoin, for the Nasdaq and Bitcoin to the upside as they continue to print money. ES1, which is really cool and something I've been watching too, also in the giant cup and handle. This one I actually gave the trade. I put this out with the stop loss. It never hit a stop. It's in the money now, right? The first target that we're going for is going to be 46.38. And I have a smaller idea here, this flag with the golden cross, the 50 cross to 200. It tells me this flag is likely to pull back more sideways and then get ourselves a breakout up to about 47.09. So this is a key area that I'm looking for. And this is very, very bullish for me. Shoulder head with a tiny little right shoulder. We did break on out, but very bullish. Gap in the VRVP, which we gap through. As long as we get above here, we're going to head to the high volume nodes, break this, and then go for an all-time high for the S&P. So the S&P also looking like we could get a pretty nice move to the upside on ES1 here on the futures on the CME. So I like what I'm seeing here. It's looking really good, and I'm calling for a massive move up. By next October, November, I see us at about 6,000. So in a year, the S&P can make about 50% gains. It'll be pretty big. And if they keep printing money, that's the only thing that's the most logical. And there's your trade right there. I want to actually put it back where it was. There it is right there. And that's staying there. And I'm going to keep looking at that. So if you came to my weekly macro analysis 3 weeks ago, you'd be in the money on the S&P. The DXY about to take a massive dump on the weekly. Likely once it loses the 21, which it did, to test the 50. Once it loses the 50, 90% of the time, you're coming down to the 200 SMA. I'm looking for the dollar to continue to tank, possibly hit this level here, and maybe that will be where it can stop. We have two spots where you might have a bit of support, 101, but there's 99.80, 990, and we would lose that 100 support that has been so psychological right there. We lost 99 there. We got it back up. It's likely we're going to take it out again. I see a move further to the downside. The weekly's, 3/4 of the way, but still has a lot more dumpage to go, and that tells me that Bitcoin could get a beautiful pump. And I like what I'm seeing here for the dollar index. So dollar index taking a move to the downside. I believe that in 4 to 5 weeks, we will be lower somewhere into the 99, 98 region. The total market cap for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency still looking beautiful out of the cup and handle to the upside. If you look at the measured move of this cup and handle, it gave us a pretty nice target. That target's somewhere at about $1.72 trillion. Then if you make this little flag, it says we could get up to 1.82. What's the bearish scenario, though? Let's look at the possible pullback situation. Like, what's happening? Well, the 3-day could dump on us and bring us back down for a test. The altcoin, the total market cap could come up. So far, what's looking more realistic to me is some sideways price action. So we could basically take this and project some type of pennant here on the 3-day chart. And even if we reset on the stochastics, it would be nice if we just go sideways. If that's the case, and it looks like it is to me, more likely we'll still get a pump and somewhere be up into the extended area of $1.82 trillion. So the total market cap doesn't look all great, but it also doesn't look so bad. We got a golden cross here. We're going sideways. Once you get above the 200 SMA, you usually get a pretty big pull to the upside as well. And if we get that FOMO ETF, it's going to just bend oscillators and push things and melt faces, and it's going to be pretty amazing. So, and again, forget about it. Don't worry about the news or the ideas that they feed you. Just stay into the charts. If this just keeps going sideways and the 21 touches, we're likely going to get a big move to the upside. Total 3 is the altcoins. They were in an Adam and Eve double bottom. I've seen this shape everywhere, all over the place recently. Like everything and anything is in an Adam and Eve double bottom. Thing looks absolutely amazing. The weekly's getting a little high for the altcoins, though, when we're getting resistance. We're going to have to see what happens in the next 2 to 3 days when this candle will close, because we want this to rip back up and close above the left candle. So that's just a little bit of, something to watch. Here is the 3-day again, but we're back above the 200 SMA. I would just be flagging this out, hoping we can turn itself into a sideways flag. And if that's the case, the market can kind of slowly rev up. The low caps can pump pretty nicely. The mid caps may just chill. And then we get our big move to $560 billion. As long as we stay above the 200 SMA, we're fine. And then I see this red coming for the yellow. That's a front run of the golden cross. So just, and then look, previous resistance became support today. We did just bust through, or the last couple of days, but we did just bust through this resistance. I'd like to see us hold that and stay above it. So I'm more bullish than bearish on total as it broke out of the Adam and Eve double bottom and made a nice move to the upside. But again, we're going to have to see some nice consolidation here for maybe the next 6 to 8, 9 days. And that way we can start to kind of go more sideways, which will build the story that this pattern would likely more break out than break to the downside. So total 3 looks better. It's not amazing, but we're going to wait for some confirmations throughout the week. Watch my show every day from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And if you can't hit the timestamps, if you can't make it, and you're going to get that information that you deserve. We take a look at the dollar, basically USD Tether, but the dominance, Tether dominance. And you can see this was an M pattern. We had clear resistance that we couldn't get back above. You came back for another high and you lost it. And then you lost what's called a symmetrical triangle. That's the base of the triangle I had in waiting there. You flip it over here and move it over. And it's likely we're going to come to the 200 SMA. And if we lose that, we're going to dump even further. The measured move for Tether dominance takes us all the way to 3.72%. And think about it. People just keep emptying their Tether for more coins. I've been doing it. So if I'm doing it, other people are doing it. No real bearish div there either. And so what you're looking for is some small time frame bear flag that's going to continue this puppy to the downside. And it's kind of what we're seeing here. And it's almost like an opposite of what you're watching for Bitcoin, right? The Bitcoin's, in like the triangle the other way. But we're looking for something like this maybe even. And once that fills out, continues to the downside, I'd take the whole length of this pole like so, and this thing would just absolutely tank. Bang, further down, all the way to somewhere at like 5.66%. So even Tether dominance doesn't look amazing. Now, Bitcoin dominance, we want to look at it because if Tether dominance is going to lose, we want Bitcoin dominance to either go sideways or lose. If that's the case, which it looks like it is, it means it's alt season. So when Bitcoin dominance moves to the downside, and so does Tether, that means basically Bitcoin's losing dominance. And so when Bitcoin usually loses dominance, Tether gains dominance. But how come Tether isn't gaining dominance? Because people are putting their money out of Bitcoin into altcoins. And you're hearing people say this too, put your money into altcoins, not Bitcoin. So people keep doing this. And you'll see you're going to end up starting to get lower. So it looks like to me on the weekly that Bitcoin dominance is going to follow the move with Tether dominance. And we're going to get some big moves here in these altcoins. So I'm pretty stacked in altcoins. I'm loaded up. I'm building positions. And this tells me to basically watch the next week or two for a big move in the altcoins and a little slight pullback in Bitcoin dominance. Everyone, that's going to be your macro analysis on some of the best, biggest indicators to teach you kind of where we're going, what's happening, and so you can zoom out to boom out and realize that you don't have to be in the tiny charts all the time. It's fun, but not all the time to see the big picture. Thank you so much for coming today and watching this awesome video. If you like what you saw, I go live every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. I can't wait to see you there. And if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Crypto is life.